Hello guys, hello YouTube, welcome to yet another vlog of Triclock Vlogs. Today we will be reviewing the R15 version 3. This right here is the BS6 model, and with one look I'm in love with this color scheme. This is the top of the end color scheme. This color scheme costs the most. The various prices associated with the different color schemes will be up on your screen as we talk about this beautiful machine. First things first, as soon as you see this bike, you will not understand that this is actually a 150cc bike. This looks like a track bike. And like Yamaha says it in their official website, the latest R15 combines the base DNA of the R1, the M series, and it gives it into a total package for the common man and biking enthusiasts. With one look at it, it has a very aggressive stance, especially this particular color with the silver graphics and the R15 written in the fairing, etc. Talking about the bike, the first thing which you actually see in the face of the bike is those beautiful LED lights. Yamaha actually outdid themselves in this particular category. They have made this all LED. If you guys don't believe me, I'm going to show you the actual reason why I told this is actually looking like Venom lights. Alright, so just to give you guys a preview, this is how the DRLs look. It's beautiful. It's very subtle. It's very subtly kept at the ends of the lights so that it gives way to the actual LED lights. Now I'll start the bike and show you guys how the lights look like. There. Just look at it. Now you can actually see the strength of this LEDs, this white xenon look-alike LEDs. When you go far or when you look in the rear view mirrors, it looks absolutely fantastic. Now I'll turn on the high beams. Now look at that. All I can compare it to is the Gixxer. This is the Suzuki Gixxer, which has a better throw for the lights, but the styling, the proper Yamaha contours and the shapes are properly followed in the 2020 Yamaha R15 version 3. Next, what you can see is this air intake section here, but this is actually not functional. It doesn't look functional as per my knowledge, and this carbon fiberish texture, a matte black texture in the mudguard. What else can I say about the exterior of the bike? The Yamaha symbol, very subtle and very pronounced. Matte black finish. I'm actually a fan of glossy items, but this particular black has a very dark feel to it. It's pretty good. There are air intakes here. This is actually functional and has this metal grill, gives a very premium feel. The seats, guys, are actually very soft. Okay, for a track oriented bike, for a mid-segment bike, this seat is very comfortable, and it stretches down towards your inner thighs, so you can get proper comfort while you are in that stance. As far as pillions are concerned, most of the bikes in these segments don't offer pillion comfort, but as far as the owner is concerned, people of lightweight are pretty okay in this, because it's pretty wide. I would have loved if they would have provided handles or for a pillion support or something, but that is just me. As per the information I got, they have given all LED lights for this particular model. Let me just check it out. Okay, this doesn't look LED, but it is LED, I guess. It has this halogen look to it. Yeah, it is halogen. These lights are halogen. Unfortunately, they didn't provide LED indicators, which should have been a complete package, But you get what you get for this money. This is actually not a deal breaker. I would have loved to see LED in it. Okay, but the backlights are LED, and that makes a difference when you're going on the road. You can actually clearly see even the standby lights, and when you brake also. So that's actually a nice touch. See, if it was LED, you could have seen it a little more clearly, but they compensated it for a superb headlight, so I can't complain. Yamaha has provided this particular version with wide radial tires. It's 140, I guess, and when you look at it from the back, the profile is actually, it makes the bike look very mean, very huge. And it's because the sari guard is here. You cannot actually see the beauty of the rear view of the bike, but when you remove the sari guard, it actually looks pretty awesome. On a very personal note, personal opinion, I actually love these mud flaps. Very premium quality. It's plastic, but it is very good quality plastic attached to metal stuff, but I wouldn't remove it. But most of the youngsters now, they would like to they remove this so that you can get that naked track sort of bike. But when you're traveling, this actually provides a lot of protection from the dirt and the rain splashes towards your back and stuff. So personally, I wouldn't like to remove it, and I kind of like that look, but it's a personal choice. Back we have 220mm, if I'm right, dual channel disc brakes. The silencer has this carbon fiber finish. Very nice addition. Now I must say, the build quality, right? The build quality is actually pretty good. You can't see any spaces, or you can't see any unlike, I'm not talking about the small weld portions you see here, but in overall, how the main portion of the bike integrates with the fairing, I'm actually pretty happy with this. And then the windshield is now so whichever color you choose, suppose if you choose the blue version or the black version, it comes with the body color. So that is a good that is actually commendable, because it gives that overall feel of the bike. In the front we have 282mm disc brakes. The tires are MRF Zappers. This is pretty standard, and this tires are actually quite economical, be it on the road, considering the wearing condition of the bikes, and but again, if you want to go for performance rides, I suggest to change the tires. But otherwise, if you're going for a normal drives, I think this is more than enough. Okay, Yamaha has given reflectors. They have actually given a lot of reflectors. So you have a reflector here, you have this tail light here, you have reflectors here. Also, these are aluminium and very solidly built and spoked, so that you can get more grip when you are riding aggressively. Okay, it's time to hear the exhaust note. Now I've been waiting to hear the exhaust note of this particular model. Sweet. Coming on to sitting on this bike. Okay, and by the way guys, they have included a side stand sensor, cutoff sensor. So it's pretty standard in higher bikes, but they have included in this segment as well. As when the stand is engaged, let me show you guys. The bike will start when the stand is engaged, but as soon as you put the first gear, the bike turns off. That's actually a neat feature, and very much required in today's riding conditions, because we tend to forget the basic stuff, right? Okay, sitting on this bike. Now, I'm not used to sitting in bikes which has this stance, but I must say it's very comfortable. Okay, when you sit, you're perfectly integrated into the bike. The tank hugs your thighs. The handle is very premium. There's a rubberish feel to it. These are clip-ons, I guess. Very good quality stuff. Very premiumly built. And the stance, so if I'm sitting like this, this is how I would sit normally. This is a little sporty stance, and this is how the bike sits. So this is actually a very aggressive riding stance. If you guys are willing to buy this bike, remember that the stance is very aggressive. And my first thought is my palms are going to pain. There is going to be a mark. Not if you're wearing riding gloves, but still, the whole pressure of your upper body is going to rest on the handles, and that is going to be an issue. But the owner told me that over time you get used to this type of riding, and that's not going to be a problem if you are lightweight. That's personally what I feel. If you are a little heavily built, your upper body's weight is going to be a little more, and then you're going to have more pressure on your palms. So that is something to note about before taking such bikes like this. However, if you are nimbly built, or if you have good stamina, or if you really love this bike, I don't think this is going to be a problem for you guys. Now let's talk about the switchgear. I like how the buttons are very premium and comfortable to handle and use. We have the normal beam and you have the high beams, and the pass is actually, I like this kind of pass where it's just a toggle, and not actually in the finger here, because it gives you that but I'm more used to this type of high pass where the pointer finger is actually controlling the high pass, but I can get used to this. This is actually a very innovative and very simple way of doing the pass, and I can get used to this also as well. And you have the indicator switches, very crisp, the horn, ignition, and the engine kill switch. That's it, keeping it basic. Talking about the instrument cluster, it says hi buddy. You can change the name of the buddy into your own name. The RPM indicator blips so that it shows you that the display is turned on. You have the gear indicator, you have the RPM indicator. This is the total number of kilometers, then the speed and the fuel. Okay, and here we can select. Okay, so this is trip A, trip B, or trip 2. What is this? This is the time. This is the kilometer per liter per 100 kilometers. This is actually a nice thing to have, the fuel consumption, or the range you can go in the amount of fuel you have right now. Yeah, and this is the fuel average, the consumption. This is required for all bikes, because we are living in a country where mileage is actually pretty important, and the petrol prices are going up, are surging, and this is actually a very essential feature, and I'm very happy that Yamaha included it in this. What else do we have? The average speed, and yeah, that's it. Very compact, very nice, proper digital screen, and at night this is actually white in color, so it has a white backlit display. I'll show it to you on the screen how it is, because since there's a lot of light here, you can actually not see it. There's a temperature indicator, neutral, the engine trouble indicator here, the indicator switch, and the high beam switch and ABS. Alright guys, time to ride this baby. Let's go. Okay, as soon as it shifts from first gear to second gear and then to third, there is absolutely no vibrations, guys. That's the first thing we can notice. The seating position is really comfortable. I actually did not expect the seating position to be so comfortable. It's not like comfy, but this is more than enough for a bike of this genre. Now, my legs are perfectly snug fit. Second thing I can notice is this bike is really has a very low profile, right? So you actually get the total wind blast, and this wind screen doesn't do much to protect you from that wind blast. However, if you're sitting say in the aggressive stance which this bike is meant to be, you get around 30 to 40% of the wind blast. That's it. This is all for the aerodynamic nature of the bike. Very refined engine, and of course that's what you can expect from a Yamaha. Alright, what else can you say? The rear view mirrors, like I said, has a beautiful view. The view is actually perfect. You don't need to turn because in my bike I need to turn even after looking at the rear view mirror, but this one gives a complete panoramic view of the road behind you. So yeah, that's actually a very good improvement. By the way, the cornering, for me it's the first time riding a bike of this genre, and that is a very aggressive stance, and wherein you're actually leaning forward while driving the bike. And even I'm feeling very confident because since this has a very low profile, it gives you a very accurate prediction on where you are going to go exactly on a corner, or when you are going through tight corners. My only problem with this with the bike is that you actually have to lean forward, right? So this is more of a really aggressive type. So, and trust me, if you are that type of person who would like to have every bit of feel on the road while driving with this aggressive stance, then man, this bike is the bike for you, because it gives you a very good view of the road. Sorry, very good driving sensation. I was a little concerned with the humps on the road, since this is a bike which has fairings, and to my surprise, the 170mm ground clearance helps a lot. Okay, even if you jump into a pothole by mistake also, it doesn't matter, because the suspension takes care of it. And the suspension is actually built in such a way that it can handle Indian roads properly, because I'm very comfortable when I'm driving the bike. I'm not sure whether I'm right or not, but let's just try it again. I'm stopping the bike, putting it in first. Okay, so I'm not sure about the specification of the bike, when the max power comes into it, with what RPM range, but what I can feel is the low end is really not there. You do not get the feel of any kind of power in the low end torque. But let's try the mid end. As I was saying, the low end torque is not at all there. It's no fun driving the bike at low end. But when you go into the mid range, right, that's when the bike actually starts to come alive. And let's see if we can do this carefully. Okay, even though it misses out on the low end, from the mid-range to the high end, this thing gets its complete power there, and this is where the life of the bike lies. You feel like an adrenaline junkie once you go over the mid-range. I mean, about 50 km/h if you are revving around approximately 6,000 RPM, at around 6,000 RPM. So let's try that again. Okay, so like I was saying, you can actually predict where you want the bike to be because of its low profile, and since it has wide radial tires, right, the it's pretty good how you can handle such roads, such corners very easily. Since the stance of the bike is unique, my advice for new riders would be to get to know the bike, not to do any corners at the start of your biking, and to get to know the bike and to be really integrated with the bike, so that you can actually get the feel of how the bike is going to respond to your riding style. Alright, okay. Oh man, the mid-range is very responsive. Feel alive after 5,500 RPM, or correctly around 6,000 RPM. From the mid-range to the high-end range, you get the proper feel of the bike. Now this bike is this bike comes with variable valve actuation. So basically, what this feature ultimately does is it gives you proper torque response in low end and in high end RPMs also, of course in mid ends also. So what happens is it has valve actuation for the low end and the mid end, and it has one for high end as well. So it keeps actuating between these valves to provide you guys the exact amount of torque required, whatever torque you require at that time, without any hesitation. So this is actually a very good technological improvement. I think some other vehicle also has it, but I don't remember. Now the competitors of this bike are the Yamaha M15, but I wouldn't take it as a competitor. For me, the competitors would be the RC200, the Gixxer, I think 150, right? The faired one. Now what this RPM shift indicator, this is a shift indicator, so proper shifts can be defined with the, we can actually do it with the help of this light. Let me show you. Now I'm going in second gear. There. As soon as the light turns on, when you shift, it gives you that proper boost to go into the next level. So I'll just show it again. Oh damn, this doesn't feel like a 150cc bike. What the hell? Because it turns into a different beast altogether once that RPM goes higher. But at low RPM, that is I crib about that, because when you start the bike, you don't get a feel at all, you know. So but once you reach that point, yes, it's actually good. Okay, let me just take a U-turn here. See, I don't have to turn back because the rear view mirrors does everything. Okay, the U-turn is a bit of a problem. Alright guys, if you can notice, my hand is actually touching the tank. That's a little weird. See, this is how much the max turn is. So when you're taking a U-turn, you tend to turn the maximum, and when you're driving, your wrist comes into contact with the tank, and I think it's pretty dangerous. I'm not sure if that's an engineering flaw, but let's try that again. Okay, just to be sure. Okay, yeah, I was right. The hand is actually pressing onto the tank, and that can give a proper miscalculated mishap, and you need to be very careful, guys. Be careful when you're turning. Okay. So that's the only negative thing I felt in this bike. This turning thing is actually a pain in the ass. By the way, the mileage of this bike is a mind-boggling 45 to 50 km per liter, guys. That is really good. I mean, for a bike with such characteristics and a raw DNA of Yamaha, 45 km per liter, 50 km, that is really close to a scooty mileage, you know, a scooter like an Activa or something, and you're getting everything. So this is like a combined package. 45 km per liter in city rides and up to 50 km per liter in highways. God damn, That is superb. You can actually tour the crap out of this machine. Alright, is there anything I have missed? Okay, so when you're driving, you can actually feel the weight of your body if you are not slim like me. See, this is what you get. And trust me, that actually feels good since you're feeling every second of the drive. And I don't think this is a complaint, but just a bit of information to note, because there might be potential buyers of this particular bike who don't mind the seating stance and care more about the actual look and the feel of the vehicle. And trust me, for that, this bike is top notch. So my verdict on the bike would be, considering its economical offering and its price and its build quality and the fact that it is Yamaha, I say this is a worthy buy, a no-brainer. You can actually buy this without thinking. But if you are a type of person who would actually want to cruise without any physical strains, and if you are concerned more about going comfortably or cruising, this is not the bike for you, because this is a bike meant for actual adrenaline junkies, where you can actually feel every bit of the ride and you're not worried about any of the cons which are associated with it. But otherwise, for a starter biker, this is a perfect machine. And don't be fooled by its 150cc. This feels way more than that. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a pleasure reviewing this for you guys. Keep supporting us like you always do. Thank you for the love and support. Do like, share and subscribe. Share it to your friends and keep giving us comments on how to improve. If you guys have any questions about the bike, feel free to reach out to us. I'll give the owner's details also in the description. Thank you for watching. Adios.